like to welcome everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth pod. This is Coach Jeff Williams along with Coach Daryl Fimple in the mouth, Brent Bender. Hey, man, let's get into it. We're starting week 1. Let's recap week 0. A lot of unknowns, which we always talk about. Is the toughest part of the year is week 0 because just the unknown factors. Daryl, recap.
I think in the wise words of last week was cramping became an issue. Yes. I mean, you want to talk about hitting the jackpot on the cramp talk we had. Yes, cramping became a huge issue. You could see some late heroics. The Battle of the Bone was a perfect example. Yeah, that was a perfect example of what happens when you don't take care of your body early in the week. Coach at Lake Hamilton was talking about, hey, it's a AAA thing. We don't get to practice in the heat no more. It's kind of crazy because it affected a lot of games. I think a lot of outcomes.
Well, it does.
And then we had some new coaches with some great showings. I think the system works at Sheridan, fellas.
How about that?
The system might work. I guess so. I mean, hung 44 up on Whitehall and had 3 onside kicks. Had a quarterback go nuts. I mean, they looked really, really good, really, really good. And then, the Warren Greenbrier game, we lose our quarterback there early and still showed some promise there for Warren. So we're going to keep them around for a while. I think they're going to be okay.
Well, good deal. All right, we're going to come back to you with your top 5. Mouth, you were on assignment down at the Fayetteville Cabot game. What did you get out of that one?
Fayetteville was very impressive. They're so fast. They've got athletes all over the place. Their linebackers can go sideline to sidelines. Cabot was outmatched in that game.
Thought they could kind of keep it in there with them up front, but Fayetteville's got a lot of athletes. Well, I tell you, one of the things I think is a big story is Doug Lockridge coming to Siloam Springs, broke the streak, 27 game losing streak, comes out, wins. I talked to a guy who's 3-0 at halftime. I said, I think we're prepared to win 3-0. Had no problem with it. End up taking out 17-10. I mean, we're breaking out fullback trap. We got buck sweeps going on, slot trap. I thought Buddy Bob Benson was back alive again. But what an amazing deal. Those kids been through a lot. Doug comes in and does a great job and what a game. Let's also hit this one. And I've heard our show was a big motivating factor. The north side, south side game, battle of Rogers Avenue, south side.
Coach's kid.
Coach's kid.
We did not play the coach's kid up right there. I mean, the coach's kid was on a mission.
He was.
I'm glad we motivated that guy. That's all it was. We were planting the seed to motivate that guy.
It must have been down 21-0, come back and win 34-27. Wilson Key, coach's kid. You get 3 catches, 96 yards, 3 touchdowns.
We got to know better too. Anybody that's willing to name their kids Wilson and after sporting goods, I mean, we got to give shots out to those guys.
Well, he did.
I mean, that's a give me. That guy's made for a game like that.
Well, and there's been accusations his mother's was running on the field, really celebrating. I've seen this on the internet. Not going to get into it too much. Well, let's get into it. Let's go start with that small school top 5, baby.
Small school top 5 this week. Got some changes too, because we had some action down there in Small School USA that kind of shook us a little bit up here in our top 5. Our number 5 spot's going to go to the Carlisle Bisons on their 38-0 victory over Drew Central. Got a huge game coming up this week that we're going to talk about later on. But Carlisle doing Carlisle things. They control the ball. They don't turn it over. They don't beat themselves. And they got a big, huge home game with the Junction City Dragons this week. That's number 5. Number 4, I'm telling you, too, these guys are still explosive. The Elkins Elks. We just plug them in, man. Plug them in. Our quarterback, Ben Napier, was 21 of 28 for 293 yards and touchdown. And Jaquan Walden had 4 touchdowns rushing, one of them about 70 yards out. So they've got weapons all over the place at our 4th spot. Boonville's going to slide into 3. Got a huge game this week, too. Doc finds a way to win against Poto, Oklahoma. It was an ugly game. Washburn, their quarterback, only had 47 yards of total offense. I mean, it was just to drag it out. They had one big, huge drive at the 16-play, 87 yards to kind of put that one away. And then Warren's going to slide down and drop down to number 2. I mean, It's like Coach Elmore said, sometimes them letters and them classifications mean something. It just kind of wore us out. You looked at Greenbrier up front. Greenbrier is going to have a good year this year, sir, too. But I think Warren's going to figure it out. Hopefully the quarterback gets back. And our number one team, because all we do is win. I wish we had theme music for them. Prescott Curly was number one, baby. Number one. Hey, look at this. Coach Glass is 59-8 in Curly Woodway. 59-8. That guy just rolls them in, man. And the Prater kid looked good at quarterback. They're going to be off to a great season this year. But they're our number one small school team.
Well, talk to me about this. Let's go to your big school.
Big school. Here's, Big School 6 is what I call it. Pulaski Academy is going to come in at 6. Pulaski Academy Cobbs. Listen to this guy. 37-52. First of all, they threw it 52 times. I mean, good God. He threw it 52 times for 475 yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns from Cobb. So I think he loves Pulaski. He loves Pulaski Robinson. They're our number 6 school. They looked really, really good. Kind of got tired towards the end. That's going to be the problem with them all year long. Just the depth.
Cramps. The cramps.
You got to watch the cramps. You got to prepare.
Yeah.
Don't be selfish, like Coach Elmore said. Don't be selfish. Drink some water. Golly, prepare yourself. Conway, what a debut there. The white kid threw for 4 touchdowns. He had one spectacular throw. I don't even know how the guy got it in the back of the end zone. They looked really, really good on offense. Defensively, I didn't think they looked as sharp as I thought they would with 9 returning starters. So they're going to have to do some changes there. They got a big week coming up. We'll talk about that later. Number 4, Fayetteville. Man, made me a believer.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Made me a believer quickly.
You can ask the mouth about this. They're on your picks. I mean, they think they should be ranked higher. I mean, the people are speaking in Fayetteville.
Well, they can speak several ways to us, too.
They're on you, Coach Fimple, for not picking them.
Hey, if I'm a motivating factor, that's awesome.
Keep going, man. Keep driving.
I'm digging in there. But, hey, Purple Dogs looked fantastic. They went on the road to Cabot. I thought Cabot might have an upset in them, especially early on in the season. Boy, was I wrong on that one. Yeah. But, at least you admit it. Bryant, how about Bryant at number 3, winning the Salt Bowl? Man, you want to talk about – they had some impressive stretches. The Ratliff kid, we've been talking about him all year. We're on that bandwagon. That guy had 5 catches for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Walker, our quarterback, was 15-22 for 287 yards and 5 touchdowns. He also carried it 54 yards. The big thing about them was both games were it was really, really turnover fest, especially early on. But once Bryant settled down, they showed their moxie, because I think Benton's going to be right in the mix in 6A. I mean,
they are.
They're going to be right in the mix. Yes.
You got on stretches a little bit about that, and man, there were stretches for both teams, and Bryant just kind of turned it on. We'll turn it off a little bit and turn it on. Go ahead.
And then number 2, which I'm telling you right now, this could be a 1A, 1B thing. Number 2, the Greenwood Bulldogs.
No doubt. 70
points.
My
God. They hung 70, and they had 5 fumbles. They lost 5 fumbles. And they still scored 70. They scored 70 points, for gosh sakes.
If you're a defensive coordinator in 6A right now, you did not want to hear that.
Golly, how many weapons? You could start. I mean, it starts at the quarterback. Their guard and center combination is phenomenal. I don't know if you watch a lot of line play, but good God Almighty, inside those inside 3 kids can really, really play. And defensively, they're all over the place. I mean, they're really athletic in the secondary. Man, they are really, really tough. It's going to take a hellacious effort to be. But like I said, you've seen stretches in the Benton-Bryant game where I think Benton could possibly hang out with them guys, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Hey, you mentioned being at practice this way. You scored 70, and the coaches going off because of the 5 turnovers.
Oh, Coach Young's already. They're going to play with a wet ball from here on out. It's a wet ball. I mean, I am sure that was the first thing out of his mouth was, hey, we turned it over 5 times. I mean, we can't do that. Really? Yeah, you can't do that on your way to 100. And it's crazy. Crazy how that was. Our number 1 team, though, go down to Melissa, Texas. Just absolutely put on a show there. Parkview does. The Elston kid with 2 huge long runs. Broke 168. And that's That's the difference, though. You're breaking 168 against about 6 Power 5 kids on the other side trying to tackle you. So it shows you how explosive they are. The Robinson kid defensively, golly, Bobby did a great job defensively on those guys. And like I said, they just keep rolling. And, Brad, I'm sure he's coaching running backs this year. He's still coaching the running backs. He's smart guy. But they're only going to get better too. I still think that they can clean up some things and be better. But what a test and what a showing for Arkansas football.
All right, guys, let's do this. Let's go ahead and bring on our guest picker. Man, that's dear to my heart, a Hall of Famer. Has won more games than I've probably attended in my lifetime. Let's go ahead and bring our Lindsay Associated guest, Coach Scooter Register. Coach, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks. I appreciate y'all having me on. This has been fun so far.
Well, we're going to get into this deal. And Coach, we'll check your work. Let's go ahead and look at last week. We got Coach on here. Let's just go the graphics. Yeah, Coach Williams was at 7-3. The Mouth, you were at 7-3. Our guest picker, Bill Elmore, was at 7-3, and Daryl, you're at 6-4. You went on a limb with that Fayetteville Cabot game. Probably kind of hurt you there a little bit, but
yeah.
We
ran into some tough times, man. We lose our quarterback, and there's all kinds of cramping going on. We weren't prepared. I was cramped up in my picks. Yeah,
exactly. All kinds of stuff. Well, let's get into it, Coach. And you've always said this and talked to us a little bit about this, Coach Register, is good coaches get more out of their guys from week 0, the first game, the second. What are you looking for in improvement? I mean, you always did that as coach. Talk to me, if you got beat or if you won big, what was your approach going into the second week of the season, Coach?
Well, I really think that, whether you win or lose, you've got to find something to work on to get their attention. Now Greenwood, as y'all mentioned, they put 70, but the coach talked in postgame about the 5 turnovers, and that's important. So, but I've always believed that good teams are going to show the most improvement between week 1 and week 2, because you've played a game and you can, look at things that you need to work on and try to get better. And, Coach Williams, I think you were good at helping me with this is, you got to focus on the things that you got to work. You got to spend more time on the things you need to, but don't overlook anything. But find you 4 or 5 things. I think what we did, we find 5 things 5 pluses that we had, 5 minuses that we had. And then, but you got to work on those things. And of course, I'm a stickler for turnover. If you drop the ball with me, you're going to the bench, because we spent a lot of time on those ball handling drills. But, it's early in the season, and y'all mentioned about the cramping and stuff, really bananas and pickle juice. I mean, I think those are the 2 remedies for that. But I heard something today is that, well, maybe I heard it on here, but, talking about, you got to get yourself in shape. And I know a lot of people say, well, the wet bub deal keeps them from practicing when it's hot, but you got to wait till late in the day. But I can understand that. But I think the good teams, and I've seen Pulaski Academy. My grandson goes through there. I've watched them practice. I really think my wife watched the game on. She watched that game on TV the other night, and I was watching my friend Clay Bimberg at Lone Oak. But we might talk about that a little bit. But but anyway, PA's in pretty good shape. They run all the time. It's amazing what they do in practice. It really is. I mean, I'm impressed. I mean, they're running all the time. So they may have had some cramps. I don't know, but it might have been on the other side. But I can't answer that. But cramping is huge early in the season. But back to your question, Coach, you just got to find something you got to work on. You got to keep their attention.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let's get into this one. Let's start with our number 10 game. Hot Springs at Arkadelphia. Arkadelphia lost a tough one to the Fighting Vaughns down there at Fairview. Daryl Burnett and them just rolled West Memphis. Daryl, break this one down for us.
Well, Hot Springs has 6 on offense, 8 on defense back from last year. They rolled West Memphis 34-7. Never really was in doubt. Last year they beat Arkadelphia 24-7. And like you said, they've got all kinds of weapons. Kenyon Woods played really good against West Memphis. Arkadelphia is at home. Arkadelphia had the fighting Vaughns, man. You don't know what you're getting into. I think Coach Vaughn just sits down there and just waits for people at Camden. They end up losing 40-25. And you got to think, too, Arkadelphia, Coach Elmore says it all the time. He said it all last week was, them letters of classifications make a big difference. And when you step out, that's usually what happens is the depth issue. Both sides of the ball, though, Arkadelphia is pretty good up front. They have 7 offensive players back from last year, 4 on defense. They're still trying to find the quarterback, which they struggled with last week. So Hot Springs is going on the road to Arkadelphia, and I'm taking Hot Springs in this one.
I'm taking Hot Springs also. Mouth, who you got in this one?
Got to go with the men of Troy. Got to go with Hot Springs.
Well, it's dear to your heart. It is. Coach Reg, break it down for us. What do you
I'm going to go with Hot Springs, but because that's going to be a tough assignment for Arkadelphia. And Hot Springs putting 34 on West Memphis. Anybody that puts 34 on West Memphis early in the season, you got to kind of tip your hat to them. But in Arkadelphia, they're sitting there looking at it. It's not, they got to, like you said, they took it on the chin at Camden. So I'm gonna go with Hot Springs here.
Okay. All right. Next one, part of the Kibler Mafia here.
Man, yes.
Yes. Ozark going to Boonville. Boonville struggled with, Poto had some situations going on and their football program, all that deal came in, tough program. Boonville squeaks out of that. Really impressed with Boonville's defense. Coach Burns is Coach Burns. Break it down for us.
Well, Coach Burns, it starts and ends with Kobe Wilbanks, the quarterback. He's back from last year. The Gilstrap kid, the linebacker that's played all over the place. He's got some sophomores that he moved up at the end of last year on the defensive line. That helps him quite a bit. The Gilstrap kid's coming off of 122 tackles last year. They beat Clarksville 31-13, which was huge for them. They go to Boonville this year. Last year, Boonville got them at home. And Boonville is trying to figure out, of course, they're trying to figure out how to replace your running backs. I mean, you had 2 dudes back there and the golf kid that's probably going to be starting in Harding for them. But against Poto, they finally put it together and had 2 big, huge, long drives that were Boonville style. They actually subbed some linemen. Doc said, hey, I had to put some linemen in at the end, and they did such a good job of kind of finishing that game off. They went on a 16-play, 85-yard drive to kind of seal the deal on that one. Dylan Todd is their big running back. Hunter Warren, they're trying to fill in them shoes. And then Jace Washburn's the quarterback that's returning for Boonville. So I think Doc's got a plan. Once again, man, went against my heart last week. It hurts my heart again. I'm going to pick Boonville at home.
Yeah. Oh, Boonville. Mouth, who you got in this one?
Me, Coach Jeremy Burns just exudes physicality when he wakes up in the morning. And I just see Ozark just going to get physical and it's going to be a physical game, but I'm going with Ozark in this one.
Going with Ozark. Coach Reg.
Well, this is my kind of football. So running the ball. And, I think it's going to be a great matchup. And Ozark did put a lot of points on Clarksville. And I think Boonville having that tougher game. I'm going to go with Boonville at home.
Boonville at home. Boy, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Boonville. Burns them got to do it at the end of the day. It's kind of like we talked about with some other teams last week.
Sure does.
Your quote, like Ric Flair says, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Beat the man.
It's got to do it sometime. Okay. This next one here is
nuts. Who'd you pick?
I'm going Boonville.
Okay.
Going Boonville. It's on the record right there.
I got you.
Yeah,
I'm on the island by myself. I'm swimming by myself.
Yeah, you did that last week with Bismarck. Nice job. You won too. We all jumped.
Yeah.
What we're doing down
talk about that. Yeah.
Telling you. All right, going here. Small school. You got your number 1 team. Prescott Curley was hosting a Salem that beat the great Redskins from Pocahontas. We were worried about the Veer, and all of a sudden I'm here. They're coming out throwing it all over the field. Break it down. You watched it.
They did. Salem did. They scored the winning touchdown was Caden Brick with 31 seconds left. They punched it in on the outside, drove it down there, but they threw it. They threw it the whole time down. A couple times it was an empty backfield. Yeah, I think they played into the old Pocahontas hand there. Yeah, little sleight of hand. Yeah,
bad scrimmage tape, bad scrimmage film,
bad scrimmage tape. That's why you scrimmage sometimes. Sometimes you put that on there. They had 4 on offense, 8 on defense. They're big up front. Salem is big and physical. Hey, and they were playing a rival in Pocahontas there. Got Pocahontas and beat them, like I said, with the last 30 seconds of the game. They actually punched it in to win 30-28. Prescott wasn't close. 53-10. Crossing still worried. And they heard the big train whistle coming in, and the Curlywoods, baby. The Curlywoods are coming. All right, we got a home game. All right, I don't know what Salem was thinking on this one because
no. This one is at Hendricks, neutral site game. Remember we talked about yes, neutral site. We're
Hendricks.
We're at Hendricks. We're breaking this
smart school.
Yeah, I messed that
smart
up.
School over there.
Yeah,
Ivy League. It's like the Ivy League.
Yes, neutral
this
site.
Be turf too.
Turf.
Yeah, Salem's not ready for turf. They're going to borrow some turf shoes. I'm going to take the Prescott Curlywoods. All right. You know how it's going to go. It's going to go down. Catch the train.
All right.
Last 40. He's actually 49-5 at Prescott.
49-5.
I gave him a couple losses there that I didn't need to give my guy. Prater, the quarterback, too, at Prescott. I'm willing to bet he's going to put on a show there.
I like it. All right, Mouth, who you got in this one?
I got the Prescott Curlywoods.
I mean, you just jumped out. You didn't even want to break that down. You weren't fooling around with that one. You're a believer.
No, I'm a believer. When you hang 53 on somebody like they did last week, you're a believer.
You're a believer. All right, Coach Reg.
Well, I don't think there's any question here with me, but Prescott good every year. My brother has become a Prescott Curlywoods fan. He's got a buddy that lives down there and he watches them. But I tell you what, the record speaks for itself. Prescott has won. I don't know about the numbers here, but they've won 9 or 10 conference championships in track, and I think that carries over their football program, and they're a solid football team. And even though I was going to pick them anyway because I thought it was at Prescott, but I don't think traveling from Prescott to Conway is going to have that much effect on the Curlywoods. So I'm going to take Prescott here. I think they may win. I think they may win big, but that's just me.
Yeah, defense travels. They'll take that. They don't matter if they're playing at Prescott, Conway. Speaking of Mountain Home, there it's going to go wherever it goes. All right, this next a big, huge rival here. Mountain Home played West Plains, Missouri, which most people are not familiar with. The big rival game there with Missouri, with West Plains. Mountain Home at Harrison, huge rival game here. I think Mountain Home's is on the up and up, and I think they're going to be really good in 6A. Harrison's always tough. Darryl, break this one down.
Well, this is, like you said, you can throw everything out on this is a rival game. This is one of those that they're right across town. That's the only time that they're close to each other. Anybody that they play, they have to travel somewhere else, a long distance way. So there is, and I think Mountain Home, their coach has done a phenomenal job. Watch them play on their channel. They won 43-21, never really was challenged by West Plains. Harrison got canceled because of something happened. Something happened to the Goblins. But I'm going to take Mountain Home in this one. I think Mountain Home travels over to Harrison and takes this one. I think they're a good football team this year. I think Mountain Home's got a chance to make some noise, get back in the playoffs, maybe even win a game or two.
I do too. All right, Mouth, who you got in this one?
I'm going Mountain Home Bombers.
Mouth is. Well, you were on it today, Mouth. I mean, you ain't fooling around.
That's quick.
Yeah, Coach Reg, who you got?
I'm gonna take Mountain Home. I've been impressed with what that guy's doing at Mountain Home last few years, and and the thing here is Mountain Home's played a game. Harrison didn't get to play. This is going to be their first game. So, like we say, those good teams are going to improve that second week, and I think Mountain Home will take care of business.
Yeah, I do too. I'm going Mountain Home also. All right, next game right here. Fans, both these guys. We got Lakeside, impressive win over Lake Hamilton this past week, and we talked about it early. Kevin Kelly with his vision, his program at Sheridan, big win over Whitehall. We got Lakeside, the system. We got Lakeside at Sheridan. Talk to me a little bit and break this one down, Daryl.
How about Lakeside with a big, huge win over Lake Hamilton, 34-29. Grady Oldham had 4 TDs for Lakeside. Lakeside defensively in the secondary, they got kind of exposed a little bit there. Look for them to kind of have to step that up this week because you're going to see all kinds of stuff. I'm sure special teams are going to be worked on a lot.
Hey, he's going to onside kick, guys.
Right now we're working on them. We're taking Labor Day practice, and we're working on nothing but onside kicking, which Sheridan does quite often. They got 3 of the onside kicks. You want to talk about momentum switches, and like we said, the place was electric. Everybody was there. I mean, Sheridan was rocking and rolling. They had 3 onside kicks. They threw up numbers. Quarterback Dax McMillan, 21 of 36 for 330 yards and 4 touchdowns. Peyton Sterrett caught 8 passes, probably didn't catch 8 passes all of his career up until last week. He had 125 yards and a touchdown. The running back's a really, really good player at Sheridan. And their offensive line's really big, by the way. Sheridan will lean on you a little bit. Yeah. Zay Stevens, the running back, had 12 carries for 120 yards. He also caught it 3 times for 86 yards, which accounts for about 206 yards of total offense. Zay did, and he had 3 touchdowns. It was 44-20 was the final, and there was a couple chances he just slowed it down. He kind of started milking the clock there towards the end. He had already showed the system worked. And so Sheridan rose to victory, and whoever picked them 8 is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because there ain't going to be 8, fellas. I can tell you that right now. They're not going to be 8. I think they're going to make some noise. I think he's got those guys believing. Get another home game. Lakeside travels to Sheridan, so I'm going to take Sheridan at home.
We'll take Sheridan home. Mouth, who you got in this one?
I'm going to go Lakeside.
Going Lakeside. Okay, you got to give me something about that. I mean, Coach Rockwell did a great. Was our coach of the year last year? All that good stuff.
They beat a really good. They played a tough game last week against Lake Hamilton. Won that one. I believe coming out of a tough game will help propel them over Sheridan. Should be a fantastic game.
All right, Coach Reg.
Well, I'm going to tell you who I'm taking. I'm taking the Sheridan Yellow Jackets. Now, Lakeside, it's going to be a completely different game. It's a physical game. Now it's going to be a finesse game. And I know everybody in Grant County will be at that game. Now, the thing he talked to him about in the post game was all the hard work and all the demanding through spring and summer. Was it worth it? And, they got a big roar. Yeah, it was worth it. The kids have bought in. I used not, Coach Kelly, he wasn't really, I liked him, but he's the real deal. There's no question about that. His system works. Now it didn't work at Presbyterian, but it's working in Sheridan. I thought maybe when he took that job, I just couldn't really understand because it was going to be hard for me to believe that he's going to get kids to come to practice on off days, and especially when it gets deer season. Everybody goes to deer woods in Grant County, but I'm telling you what, he's got them going, and that'll probably be the biggest game that's been played in Sheridan in years, even probably since Billy Dawson's been there. Coach Williams, you remember we went to Sheridan and they scored on that darn flea flicker and got ahead of us, and we had to kick off both halves. You remember that?
I remember
because I sent the wrong guy out for the coin toss, and so we had to kick off to them both sides. They're about to run me and you both out of Union County. Yeah. But we come back and won. But it's going to be that kind of atmosphere, and I'm going with Sheridan all the way here.
Yeah,
isn't it amazing what happens when you hire a home run hire? The whole town's fired up. like
Daryl Fimple at North.
They've already sold all the tickets for this game.
There's still fireworks left. They blew them all.
Yeah. They're like,
budget for the year.
That's right.
We had this whole warehouse full of fireworks for getting to use them this year. This is crazy. Yeah.
You know what? I'm a believer. I believe in vision. I believe in Coach Kelly. I am going to go with Sheridan Yellow Jackets also. All right, next one right here. Big matchup over in God's country right here. We got the new line offense, Zach Clark and the Searcy Lions. Very impressive win over Batesville last week. Feels good about his team. Pretty healthy coming out. And then Valley View. And Valley View, I watched Scrimmage Marion won that game. That they look like they're on hey, everybody's been kind of Harding Academy. Look like that will have something to say about this. This could be a future matchup in the playoffs. Daryl, break it down.
Well, Searcy's a little different too. Our guy's running the football.
Yes.
Yeah. Curtis Goodrich rushed for 4 touchdowns last week. Ricky Love was a big home run hit for Searcy. He had a 75-yard touchdown TD late in the fourth quarter to put Batesville away 42-18. Valley View is very good at the skill spots. They're very good on the outside skill spots. They beat Poplar Bluff 42-14. Valley View's kind of got something cooking up there. Like you said, everybody's kind of overlooking them. But I also think that Searcy has made a trip that way. They've got a win under the belt there in Batesville. And you look at the old classifications. Here's the classifications here. Can Zach take it on the road and get another big victory at Valley View? I think so. I'm going to go with Searcy.
Go with Searcy. Defense better on defense too, a little bit.
Well, I mean, it could be worse.
All right, Mouth, you're close to that program. I mean, you're there every day. Talk to us a little bit about new line offense in the Searcy. What do you think about this one?
Man, Searcy did what they had to do over in Independence County when they beat Batesville Friday night. Really played well in the second half, running the ball with Ricky Love and their other running back. I believe Ricky Love had a 72-yard run for a touchdown in the second half to put it away. I tell you what, the most underappreciated part of Searcy's team is he's got a good offensive line. They're physical now. They're real physical. I'm going with the Searcy Lions. That's where my heart is. I'm going with my heart and my head this game.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Coach Reg.
Well, I'm a Zach Clark fan. I've always admired him, and I'm going with him. And I know, and he played at Batesville, so he's already been on the road. So he goes to Valley View. I know Valley View's supposed to be better, but I'm going with Zach Clark and Searcy Lions.
I'm gonna go with the new line offense also. I think we got something special coming out of there this year. All right, next game. Wow, this is an interesting game. Little Rock Christian, it's Shiloh at Little Rock Christian. Little Rock Christian 2 years ago came up here and destroyed Shiloh. Shiloh goes on the road last year and destroys Little Rock Christian. Both of them have great runs. Both get to the state finals. Daryl, break this one down. Shiloh dominated Farmington. Little Rock Christian goes down to El Dorado and barely gets out. Break this one down for us, Daryl.
Well, Shiloh, last year got beat by Farmington. Remember, they opened up to Farmington, surprised them and beat them.
That's right.
So I think that kind of played into the mess. But Griffin Mason, the junior running back, had 212 yards total offense. He carried it 11 times for 142 yards. A lot of people were asking, are they going to be able to replace Bo Williams? Well, the answer is yes. And matter of fact, they opened the game with a little halfback pass from my guy. He threw a 70-yard touchdown pass on the first play from scrimmage. He accounted for 5 touchdowns, 4 on the ground, threw 1. So they definitely answered that. And I'm telling you, Shiloh's front 7 on defense was extremely good against Farmington. Farmington only had 1 drive in that game. So I'm sure Coach Tice is going to have to clean that up and do something a little different there at Farmington. I'm sure they're going to have a great week of practice there. Shiloh was really, really, really good. Little Rock Christian, they had a win, beat El Dorado, kind of struggled a little bit, though.
Yep.
Did it a different way, too. They beat El Dorado 21-14. Jackson Ward, the running back, had 161 yards. He had 118 in the second half, and they finally just said, hey, we can't throw it. So we kept throwing it to El Dorado. Might have been a little bit colorblind there. I don't know what happened there. But we kept throwing it to them, so we decided just to start running it to Jackson Ward, and he definitely delivered in the second half with 118 yards. This is a Little Rock Christian at home here, so Shiloh's going to have to make the trip down. I don't think Shiloh has any problems in this one. I think Shiloh is going to come down to Central Arkansas and get a victory. I'm going to take Shiloh Christian in this one.
I'm going Shiloh also, and I like Coach Grimmett. I think head coach.
Hey, he's got a little chip on him.
He does, and he's a defensive guy. But I think Shiloh's just too much mouth. Who you got in this one?
I gotta go with Shiloh Christian. They got too much coming off 42 to nothing defeat of Farmington. Coach Tice is saying, "Why did I come out of retirement?"
There's a lot of people going to Shiloh get beat up too.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're like, "All right, Coach Reg."
Well, I'm gonna go with Shiloh, but I wanted to mention Kemp Keller, the quarterback at Little Rock Christian, is really a good athlete, good quarterback. Brad Bowling told me that he's probably the best quarterback he's seen in 7-on-7 in Central Arkansas. And for them to go and win at El Dorado, and I know the game didn't go well, that speaks pretty highly for them, and they're going to be at home. But I tell you what, here's the reason I'm leaning towards Shiloh. They can run the football, and I think they can control the clock and score, and that will frustrate Little Rock Christian. So I'm going to go with Shiloh.
So Shiloh, man, you just nailed it. They can line up and run it ever down. They're going to be hard to stop. All right. These next 3 games we're getting are 2 games of the week. Man, Parkview goes down to Melissa, Texas. I just watched the replay, watched twice. Just a dominant performance. Playing at Maumelle. Daryl, break it down. Coach, you're close to this one, obviously, but Daryl, go ahead and break this one down, man.
Well, Parkview travels on the road, goes to Melissa, Texas, wins 27-20. Montario Elston had 12 carries for 162 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a 68-yard touchdown in the second quarter. He returns, pretty much ends the game in the fourth quarter with a 61-yard touchdown. Omarion Robinson, the safety, that's a freak show for Parkview, had a pick 6 that pretty much sealed the game too. They're really good on defense. I mean, last year we were talking about how explosive they were on offense and so forth, and they still are. But, man, I think they're so much better defensively. And they've got 2 linebackers. You want to talk about going sideline. They go sideline to hurt people's feelings. I mean, they ain't running around with nothing other than hurting people's feelings. I mean, even the kids from Melissa, Texas are like, where did these guys come? I mean, they got one linebacker. I mean, he can absolutely fly. Anyway, Maumelle kind of struggled with. They got off to a rough start. Penalties killed them. Really, really sloppy. I think they'll get cleaned up this week. Their quarterback Jork he was 6 of 11 for 107 yards and a touchdown. He carried it 9 times for 78 yards and a touchdown. Marshawn Wiley had 8 carries for 98 yards. Jacob Henry, he had 10 carries for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns for Maumelle. Sylvan Hills, just still young. They are on I think like a 12-game losing streak. But Maumelle is at home. I'm sure they're thinking, hey, maybe they're going to sleep on you. I don't think the Bolden boys are going to let anybody sleep. No. I'm pretty sure today they were out probably making sure that everybody understood where they stood. And they're going to come back home in Arkansas, put on a show. Maumelle's, gearing up for a big year, they think. But I'm going to take Parkview in this one. And once again, it's probably not going to be close, I would say. I'd say halftime. If it's within 35, I think Maumelle's done a good job. So I'm taking Parkview in this one.
Oh, man, 35 right there. Put it out there. Coach Mop and Mouth, go ahead here. I mean, what do you got here?
Well, I'm just going to tell you, Parkview's got too many athletes I got Parkview. I'm with Coach Fimple here at Parkview Big.
Parkview Big. Coach Reg, 35. Let's talk about that.
That's stepping out there a little bit.
Oh, my God.
I made my notes for this one. But I will. Here's what I was. If you're gonna talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. Now, I don't know who's doing all the talking, but I will tell you, Parkview's loaded. They got great athletes. They're going to score. They got Bobby Bolden heading up the defense. That's the reason Parkview's turned the corner the last couple of years. They are solid there. I don't know if it'll be 35-0 at the half, but I think Parkview takes this one pretty handily Friday night.
Well, here's my question. This is back to you, Coach.
You know that like 11 of their games last year was 35 at the half.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying it can't be done.
I really didn't stretch it out here, guys.
No. You didn't go out on a limb here.
Not bad here.
No, you didn't go. You didn't stretch it. But Ken, here's my challenge. Coach Rester, you answer this because we made a couple of trips down to Texas and some long trips. It is, that was an emotional game played on a Saturday. It's a day shorter, long travel back. Hey, can they get them back up and focused? I mean, you're there. You're as close to that program as anybody there in Little Rock.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue. He's already he had text out today, about what time they're supposed to be there. He's on top of them. I'm going to tell you what, he's organized, and I think that, I think they'll get them ready, and they'll probably have a light practice tomorrow and get their legs back under them and then go hard Tuesday and Wednesday, but too much on the line here. This is for bragging rights in Pulaski County. So, I just think I know that they're going to be a day short practice, and but I just think they're too good. Mom else better, no question about that. Moppin's done a good job over there recruiting. So, so anyway, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm taking Parkview.
Taking Parkview. Okay, all right. Let's get into it. Here we go. Our small school game of the week, which Junction City at Carlisle. Daryl, Junction City. Everybody, we had a preseason show. Everybody's already sent them the trophy. They go down to Cannon Harmony Grove and get beat. Carlisle just keeps rolling. Break this one down for us.
We were actually overlooking this. I mean, we were already talking about game 2, week 2, man. Yeah. Carlisle, they got to go to Carlisle.
Yeah.
I tell you the truth, I didn't know. I didn't know Cannon Harmony Grove was. I didn't know.
They're always pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Needless to say, Junction goes and gets beat 30-20 to open the season. Really had trouble holding on the ball. Got some crucial turnovers there, but defensively it didn't look very good at all. I think they had some huge problems in that game. Of course, you could tell by the score. And now they load up and travel. So, big expectations sometimes can humble you. So you might be gotten humbled a little bit. So we might be listening a little bit better in practice this week. Like I said, it's an important road game that they might have been looking forward to going to Carlisle and seeing. I know Carlisle's waiting. They're excited about it. They're coming off a 38-6 victory, getting to play at home. Junction City's coming in here with all the championships and program history, same as Carlisle's. So I'm saying Carlisle at home. And I'm huge on Junction City last week.
Oh, I know.
We've been on them all year, or the start of the year.
Yeah. All right, Mouth. Junction City, Carlisle, baby. Let's hear from you.
Ooh, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a heck of a game, I do believe. I'm going to go Carlisle.
Carlisle, Mouth. Going Carlisle. Coach Reg, if anybody knows starting off on a bad game is, and then feel the repercussions of that, our 2001 team at El Dorado, Coach Reg tell you, we got upset by Benton. He said he's just fed them a candy bar and a Coke. We could go to the state finals that year. Guess what? They got a candy bar and a Coke. I mean, it's just the way it works. You have one bad outing. Break it down for us, Coach, in this one.
Well, my heart wants to go with Carlisle. That's Eastern Arkansas, and you spend a lot of time in Carlisle.
And barbecue.
That's right. My heart goes to Carlisle, but I really think they won. Junction City lost. I think Coach Fimple mentioned, maybe they get humbled a little bit. Maybe you'll be a little bit more focused in practice. And I know they're traveling, but I just really think I'm going to take Junction City here. I just think they may have better depth and better athletes than Carlisle. But I think it'll be a great game. I got kin folks that live in Carlisle, and they're probably going to diss on me if they hear this podcast. But I think it'll.
They'll hear it, Coach. The people hear it. They demand it. We check your work. We get it out there, buddy.
Yeah, I know. But I'm gonna take. It should be a good ball game. But I just think Junction City may be a little bit have more depth and better athletes. But overall, I'm gonna take Junction City here in a close one.
Well, has the first kindergarten class, Carlisle, Arkansas. I'm taking the Bisons all the way. All right, next, here we go. Our next, and let's get into our big game school of the week here. We got Bentonville at Conway. Daryl, I mean, both these huge, big-time programs. Break this one down.
Well, Bentonville stretched out Tulsa Union to the end there. They end up dropping the game 42-35 in overtime. They gave up 535 yards of offense to Tulsa Union. Now, let's get this straight. Tulsa Union is no cupcake either.
No.
I mean, they stepped out. They'll be right in the middle of everything in Oklahoma. Bentonville played two quarterbacks. Coach's kid, Coach Grant's son, was 7 of 12 for 61 yards, had one interception. They put in another quarterback, Slepnik, who played really good at the end. He was 12 of 17 for 187 yards. Chris Finklin, the running back, had 20 carries for 116 yards. Two wide receivers, Brooks and Irvin, both had about 66 yards apiece, something like that. Conway against Jonesboro, at Jonesboro, only having really one returning starter back on the offensive side. And the defensive side, they got 9 back. And I thought their offense actually looked way better than their defense did against Jonesboro. They ended up beating Jonesboro 42-21. Jonesboro opened and dedicated a new building. That's always a sign it's bad. It's always, you open up anything and name it something. That's a tough one. I mean, that's tough. That's like Coach Hobbs at Springdale having to dedicate the field to Coach Williams. I mean, come on, man. That's a tough game to play. Yeah, you put anybody into that situation, that's a cooker. But Springdale answered the bell on that one. But anyway, Conway, Grayson Wilson got his first start as a Wampus Cat, 3 for 4 touchdowns, one made. His first touchdown pass was unbelievable. I don't know how he's seen the guy. He threw a dart about 35 yards in the air to Blake Kordsmeyer in the back of the end zone. Kordsmeyer's he's going to be a weapon for him. He's actually a baseball player. And they got him out there at wide receiver in the slot. And Cam Blackman is a sophomore. I was really impressed with him, number 3, wide receiver for Conway. Conway, as the game wore on, you could see offensively their offensive line's pretty good too. And then, of course, Coach Kelly does a great job of disguising all kinds of stuff. I mean, that guy he's in the lab all day long. I think they'll clean it up on defense. This is a home game. This is Bentonville going to travel there. Bentonville's, like I said, is very physical. So you'll see Conway in this game. I think this will be like I think 7-point game one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Conway at home.
Wow.
You hear that? I picked Conway at home in a physical game. Can we make it happen?
Can
we make it happen?
Conway in a physical game.
In a physical game. Can we make that happen? We're going to see. We're going to see. Our guy talks about the weight room. We're going to see it this week, if the weight room paid off or not.
Oh, okay. All right, Mouth. You've been to several practices and you're headed to this was your game you're going to this week on assignment. Talk to me.
And going to be on assignment Tuesday with Coach Jack.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's going to be a great game. First of all, it's going to be an honor to be able to be there to see it. Conway's just got too much. Their offensive line is gigantor. They're massive. Grayson Wilson's got weapons all over the field. They can run it. They can throw it. And their defense will be just fine. Conway.
Going Conway. All right, Coach Reg, break it down for us.
Well, I'm not going to go against my friend Buck James because Conway will be better this week. Now I know they probably didn't play as good as defensively maybe as they wanted to at Jonesboro, but they're going to be better. Bentonville's got to travel. I don't really know a lot about Bentonville. I know they're a great program, and Coach Grant's done a great job up there. But going to Conway, they're going to be cooking hamburgers in the northeast end zone. That smoke's going to be coming down through there. Y'all know how that is. And
oh, yeah.
Line up them hamburgers. But Buck's going to have the Wampus Cats ready, and that's a hard place to play. And so I'm taking Conway.
Well, everybody's taking Conway. There's some things we'll kind of talk about this a little bit. Last time the Bentonville Tigers got on a bus and drove down to Central Arkansas, I believe they beat Bryant, who I think was a really impressive team. It seems like when they get away from home, which Bentonville's been so good at home that they're a little bit more focused in that part of it. But at the end of the day, I think it's a one-score game. I'm going with Conway, and I think it's a very, very high-scoring game. I'm going with Conway. Daryl, I'm going to ask you that. Can Jody get them focused when they get away and make a run? Do you believe in Conway? But what do you think?
When they came to Bryant, remember we were talking, when they came to Bryant, what were they? They were the most physical team on the field that
yeah.
So, you're on to something. That's why I'm saying I'm picking Conway. But I don't know if we can be physical like that. So this is going to be a big, huge test for this. This is a great scheduled game, by the way. I mean, if you're going to play somebody from the West, play them early, you're probably going to get opposite of them or see them in the playoffs. But, yeah, I think it's both teams. This is a big, huge game for both of those guys.
Oh, no doubt about it. Well,
especially for Conway, because you're looking at the Central Conference as a whole is extremely down. So, I mean, you're going to play your non-conference schedule is going to be extremely tough, but you're going to have, you're not going to get pushed a lot. So this is a great game for them to be pushed, especially early.
Yeah. Coach Reg, your final thoughts.
I did, you brought up a point, which, it seems like that we did a good job, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but our staff, we did a good job of, we got our kids out of El Dorado when I thought we played better on the road most of the time than we played at home. And we played at home pretty good sometimes, but we had them focused. So that you brought up a good point there. Can he keep them focused? And they're going to have to be focused to beat Conway. But, it's going to be close. There's no doubt about it. So, and maybe the physicality, if they come down and hit Conway in the mouth, that could be a deciding factor early, whether they're going to be able to hit them back in the mouth. So, but it'll be a physical game, and I hate that I'm going to miss it, but I'm going to Jacksonville and watch Coach Bimberg, and I didn't get to see him in the opener last week, but this would be the one I'd go to if I was not going over to Jacksonville.
Well, yeah, Coach Bimberg and him doing a great job over there. We had him on earlier. Mouth, your final thoughts.
It's going to be a fantastic game. It's one. If you're close to Conway, you need to. If you're going to go to the game, you need to get there early. We'll make sure to have a seat. I really think that's why the Mouth's going to be there about 3:30 to get.
You'll be there ready to go then. Well, guys, it looks like like I said, another fantastic week. We're looking forward to the season started off great. Well, for Coach Jeff Williams, Coach Daryl Fimple, the Mouth Brent Bender, and Coach Register, we appreciate you coming on the show, and we'll see you next time.